This is Todd. I'm just a regular dude walking in the Word. Today I'm out here at an undisclosed location, and I came back out to a place I filmed several weeks ago, and no one guessed where it was. So some of my loyal watchers said, "Hey, please go back there again so we know where it is." So anyway, I came back here and I'm fishing today. So I got my Bible, but I got my fishing pole here, and I'm doing a little fishing. So anyway, I thought I'd do a little reading here today. I'm going to be reading from Mark 11. When I'm all done, maybe I'll flash it around. So, because I still have my $20 that no one has ever claimed yet, because no one knows where I am. So, Mark 11, I'm going to read verses 12 through 14, and this is where Jesus curses a fig tree. You can see around me, I've got trees all around me here. So, the next day, as they were leaving Bethany, Jesus was hungry. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. Now, the tree had leaves on it, so the fig tree at that time, I guess all the time, I'm not that familiar with figs and fig trees. I have other trees around me. I have an oak tree here, and we have other trees that I like to produce fruits. In our house, the different trees we have growing, I like to grow because I like to eat the fruit. Sometimes I like the shade too, but I'm trying to grow more for stuff for us to eat. So I don't like to eat acorns, so I try not to grow those trees, but they give good shade. But anyway, Jesus was walking along and he saw that the tree had leaves on it, and that's why he went over to it, assuming that because it has leaves, it had to have fruit. But no, it did not. It was an example of false advertising. So, and Jesus was upset because it had the leaves. It looked like it had the figs, but it didn't have the figs. And the false advertising, years ago, I went, Myrna and I, this was probably 15 or more years ago, back before we had the internet and stuff like that. And we were looking for another work van. And so I found one in Orlando, like on a bargain trader or something like that. So I called up the place in Orlando and I said, "Hey, I see you have a van. I wanted a 1-ton cargo van, like what you got in the picture." And the guy said, "Oh yeah, we got it. Yeah, and come tomorrow and we'll get it. It'll be ready for you." And so I'm like, "Oh yeah, sounds like a good price and everything." And I asked him all kinds of questions on it. And he said, yep, that's it. And so anyway, we loaded up, and it was about a 2-hour drive for us, because we thought, well, this has got to be the right van. The picture looks good, and what he said about it looks good. So as when we got there, we got this car lot, and as we're there, we're looking around, and we can't find the van any place that was in the picture. And I talked to the salesman. I said, "Where's the van that I called about? I'm Todd." And he said, "Oh, it's right here." I'm like, "That's not the van. It was a window van that had seats in it, and it was an old church van." And I said, "That's not going to work for me." And we just walked away. We were mad because it was false advertising. They had us drive all the way up there for something they told us they had, but in reality they didn't have it. So we were mad about that. This miracle that happens here, it's the only destructive miracle that Jesus ever does in the Gospels. Everything else he does to help people and heal people and so forth. But this miracle, now the disciples at different times said, cast down lightning and strike them dead, and all this stuff to destroy these people. But no, Jesus was he was all about building people up and healing and so forth. But this is the only time where Jesus brings about some destruction on the fig tree. So and he curses it. He was showing his displeasure of their religious life without fruit. I have a note here. This is the only destructive miracle reported in the Gospels, and Jesus meant it to picture his displeasure with people who appeared religious, but whose lives remained barren of fruit of godliness. Okay? And in Galatians 5:22 and 23, let me get there real quick. Galatians, if you have your Bibles, you can turn to it. You might get there faster than I do. Galatians 5:22 says, and you probably already know it, it's the fruits of the Spirit. The wind is turning my pages here. It says this, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Now, how would it be if I was like, I went to church, but I was, shaking my fist and yelling and screaming and cussing at people as I was going to church about how they drive, and then on my way in, there's a lady that's crossing the road, in her walker, and I go and kick the walker out from underneath her, and all kinds of things like that. You'd be like, why are you going to church? You're not a Christian. I mean, we can tell by the fruit you're not a Christian. Well, that's what Jesus was upset about. Was you had the Pharisees and other religious leaders that said, "Oh, yeah, I'm religious," and they were doing all these religious things, but the fruit that they exhibited didn't show it. And so that's what Jesus was upset about, and that he was doing this example with the fig tree as an example of that, to show his displeasure of a fruitless life that was religious, but it was a fruitless life. So anyway, my encouragement for you today is don't be religious, be fruitful. Lord's blessing. We'll see you next time. Oh, before I go, let me pan around here a little bit. You might see a little bit. This is where I am, and I'm fishing here. Someone's going to get their $20, I think. If you look way over there, you can see Edison fishing. So, anyway, the $20 is up for grabs for whoever can figure out where I am. All right, we will see you next time. Lord's blessing. See ya.